Hi everybody, welcome to Hoopy Hybrid. My name is Kate, one half of our team. Today we're going to talk about all things nutrition simplified and hopefully help you get started on feeling better and better equipped with your nutrition. So this is not necessarily sports nutrition or nutrition for hybrid performance, but a great place to start if this seems overwhelming, and a place that you can use for just generally feeling healthier, but also within your sports. And we'll continue to follow up with lots of videos for that. But we did a live video on our Instagram the other day. If you want to follow us, that is linked below. It's just at Hoopy Hybrid. We've been trying to implement some more live videos, and our first we did the other day, and it was basically this, but kind of summarized into a pretty short live video. So we're going to expand a little bit more. We were also on the live. We weren't able to go over equations that we're going to go over today. And like we had mentioned on the live, though, we do have a full PDF that we can send you with examples and some help for you to kind of see this visually and go through it at your own time. So first of all, we want to start off with just getting started. Nutrition can seem a bit overwhelming. And if you Google something or YouTube something, you're going to be given a whole bunch of different answers. And it's hard to figure out where to start. And oftentimes when we're given so much information, we kind of just resort back to what we are currently doing. So to get started, we want to currently look at habits that you have ingrained in your daily life right now. So things that you're currently eating, the foods that you're reaching for. And to do that, we want to become aware of it by tracking. So that's going to be the first thing we're going to talk about. Is initially, this is not something you have to do forever. Cody and I do not track our food. We have a pretty good idea of what we need to eat to hit the goals that we're trying to do on a daily basis. If you are going into more of a bodybuilding type of phase, or really trying to trim off the last few pounds, or going into powerlifting meets where you need to make weight, things like that, there might be a time in that tracking very meticulously becomes necessary again. But for the most part, this is really just helpful when you're getting started, trying to reevaluate whether you're starting from ground zero or just starting back into this new routine again, just to get an idea of where you currently are with your food. So tracking is not necessary for your entire life. I just want that to be clear, because sometimes tracking can seem a little bit just too much in our mind to see numbers every day and have to get on the scale and have to track everything we eat. It is a great tool if you want to be very fine-tuned. So it is something you can do every single day, and it will certainly keep you on track and have something to hold you accountable to, knowing that you're going to need to input that, but it is not necessary. So to get started, though, we are going to go over kind of what it means to track. Oftentimes with clients, to get them started, I'll have them simply write down on paper what they're eating, because I can kind of look at what that food is and I'll have an idea of what it is calorically and macronutrient wise. However, to be precise, we need to know the portion. That is the biggest game changer. If you write down peanut butter on your paper that you're eating, that could mean a teaspoon, but more often than not, it is not going to be the serving size on here, which we're going to go over. It is usually far above. And that's where the problems come in, when we don't know how much we're actually consuming. So a great place to start is measuring and tracking your food so that we can figure out exactly how many calories you're eating and macronutrients, which we'll go over. To do that, you're going to need a food scale. You can use measuring cups and things like that, but to be really accurate, these are 10 to 20 bucks, really. You could look and try to find even cheaper, I'm sure, but you'll need one, and it's good for every food. You can change the unit and you'll be able to use it for everything. So, and it's great for just recipes too. So you're going to get your use out of that if you don't already have one. From there, we're going to go over, and this you will not be able to necessarily see, but grab any food item you have in your house nearby. Every food is required to have a nutritional food label on the back. So grab anything, turn that over with me. What you're going to see, there's a lot of numbers. Again, confusing. We want to look at a few things that are really important. The first one being the serving size. And so we're holding a jar of peanut butter. This serving size is in tablespoons, 2 tablespoons, or 32 grams. So that's where you could use a tablespoon, but using the gram unit is going to be so much more precise. So that's where you would use the scale, you would tear it out, and then get to 32 grams. Now that's for one serving. You can, of course, have 1 tablespoon, which would be 16, or you could have double and have 64 grams. So anyways, from there, we need to know the serving size because everything following is a number directly correlated to that serving. So the calories below, 180 calories for 2 tablespoons. The total fat, 16 grams for 2 tablespoons. The total carbs, 5 grams for 2 tablespoons, and protein, 8 grams for 2 tablespoons. So you get the point, I'm hoping. But the key point here is that all of those calories and macronutrients, if you eat less or if you eat more, need to be adjusted. So that's where tracking really comes in handy. So now that we know how to read the food label and how to track with a food scale, I want you to, and this can take up to a few weeks. I would at least start with 1 to 2 weeks. You're going to write down every food that you're eating along with the size, the portion size. Now you can make this really simple. Download the app MyFitnessPal, and you'll be able to, basically for a lot of foods, you can scan the barcode even, or you can just type in the brand and the exact food, and it will pop up with the serving and with all of the numbers that go along with it. So all you have to do is type in the food, the serving size, and it will do the rest for you. And it will add that for your full total day. So after you've done 1 to 2 weeks, while you're doing this, you're also weighing yourself every day, and this will give you a great idea of if these are your maintenance calories. Meaning if you're eating the right amount that you're not gaining any weight. If you're eating too little, you'll be losing weight. If you're eating too much, you'll be gaining weight. Now this is more of a trend. This is not if you wake up the next morning and you're 0.2 heavier than you were the day before. Lots of things can cause fluctuations with water retention from sodium or drinking more water, or maybe you sweat more the day before. Lots of things can make that altered on the scale. So it's not from a day to day, but that's why we like to have a trend of at least 1 to 2 weeks, but ideally the more the better. So from here, this is a great way to find maintenance calories, but it's also a great way to just become aware, because if you know that you're going to have to track your food, you're going to second guess that a little bit before you actually eat it. So it will cause you to take that moment to think, do I want this? Am I hungry? Am I just bored browsing foods? Or do I need an actual meal? Is it time for something nutritious? So it just requires you to be a little bit more thoughtful with the food you eat. Now moving from here, so that gave you a possible idea of your maintenance calories. However, we're going to go over an equation that we weren't able to go over on our live, in case you were there and looking for a little bit more. We're going to go over macros and whatnot as well in a moment, but I think we're going to start here for today. So this is called the Harris-Benedict equation. There are other equations that you can use. Most of them require more testing for lean body mass or things like that. This is a great equation for just getting an idea, just finding a ballpark of what your maintenance calories could be, a good starting point to have that idea. Now, again, we don't track, meaning we also don't track our calories. We kind of just have an idea of this is how much we need to eat to perform. And that's where I really want your mindset to be starting to shift. This is not a video to help you lose weight and drop pounds in X amount of weeks. I really want you to begin to think of nutrition as a way to fuel the things you do in your everyday life. Whether that be your hybrid training, your running, your lifting, your swimming, your biking, or that be your general day-to-day life. You're playing with the kids, you're going for runs with friends, you take a hike with your family, things like that that allow you to have energy to do more. Now, calories are also really helpful with our brain. So this is not just physical performance, but this is the way that you mentally and cognitively are present and doing well at your work every day. So we need good calories, and we don't want to be restricting and thinking of it in that mindset. But we do want to alter that mindset to we're fueling and we're choosing good foods because we know that it allows us to perform well. So I want to preface with that this is not by any means a weight loss video, and much more I just want you to be aware of what you're eating. I would love for you to know how to do this and know just an idea of that ballpark, and the more knowledge you have, the better. Now, BMR, this is the equation for your BMR, and your BMR is your basal metabolic rate. This means basal metabolic rate is the amount of calories you need every day without any activity. This is your calories basically for bed rest. So if you were sick and laying in bed all day long, this is how many calories you would need to survive. This is not to thrive. This is not to do extra activity. This is simply to survive. Okay, so I want you to know that too. And this is why it's pretty helpful to know this, because if you are trying to lose a little bit of weight, if you know at least your BMR, and again, this is not 100% precise, but it does give you an individual pretty good ballpark of where your BMR is. If you at least know this, then you are able to better create a deficit without dipping below this, because we don't want to go below your basal metabolic rate. Okay, so we're going to go through the math here. I left a little bit of gap to fill in these, and then we'll go over that. So the first number, and this is for females. Okay, this is the exact equation for females if you want to screenshot, or you can Google this as well, but we have 665 for females. That's always going to be the number in here. Now this first number in the equation, we have 9.6 times body weight in kilograms. Now these are in that unit. So for kilograms, what you're going to do is divide. You're going to need to know your body weight in pounds. You'll divide that by 2.2. Okay, so for me, 125 divided by 2.2, 56.8 kilograms. So we're going to put 9.6 times 56.8. Okay, and we'll just do that right now. 9.6 times 56.8, 545.28. Okay, so that's our second number. The next one we have 1.8 times your height in centimeters. So again, you're going to need to know your height. And for that, whatever your height in inches, you're going to multiply that by 2.54. So I'm 60 inches times 2.54. That's 152.4 centimeters. And we're just going to, before we even write it, we'll multiply it by 1.8. Okay, so this is our third number, 274.32. And then our final number is a subtraction, 4.7 times your age in years. So I'm 27 times 4.7, 126.9. Okay, so now we can do all of these next. So the first one, 665 plus 545.28 plus 274.32, subtract 126.9 equals 1357.7. We're going to round 1358, or really 1360. It does not need to be exact. You could even 1300 to 1400 to be completely honest, or 1350. Somewhere in this ballpark though. That is our BMR. Okay, so from here, the next part is your total daily energy expenditure. Now this, so like we said, this is your BMR, calories needed no matter what you're doing. This next step is going to give you an idea of your calories that you burn based on your activity level and calories that you're going to add to this. Okay, so there are a few categories. You have sedentary, which is considered very little exercise. You have light activity, 1 to 3 days per week, which a lot of people really fall in. So even though it sounds lightly active, seems like I'm probably more active, we have to be pretty truthful and honest here to know where we are. Moderately active is heavier exercise, 5 to 7 days a week. Then we have very active, which is hard exercise every day. And then extra active, hard exercise 2 times per day, and most likely an endurance athlete, ultramarathon, professional sports. This is not a lot of people that fall in this category. Even if you feel like you're extra active, I would stray away from this. It's going to give you, it's for people that are very professionally or, for their work active. Now, I want to emphasize too, this is not necessarily, like I was saying, professional athletes, people that do this for their work. All of these categories are really relating to your daily life. So we are considering the amount of training we do, but a lot of times this is not necessarily for athletes that are training with purpose, but this is for people that are starting to get introduced into tracking calories and living a healthier lifestyle. And so the activity, we want to think of more of, what do we do if we're not at the gym? What do we do when we're not training and going through our program? If we're a stay-at-home mom, you're moving a lot because you're moving with kids and doing housework and things like that, and they add up pretty quickly. If you're working construction, you are pretty active throughout the day. If you're working at a desk, unfortunately, you're not as active. Most likely, you might have a standing desk. You might find ways to work around that. But for the most part, stereotypically, desk jobs, you're going to be pretty inactive compared to physical labor jobs where you're moving around all day. And so those are really the kind of jobs you want to think about: what you do for work, what you do for daily life, and how many steps you're getting per day without necessarily really trying, without going out of your way. How much activity are you getting pretty easily? Okay, so from here we're going to do, we'll do a lightly active and a moderately active. Well, okay, we'll do lightly active and very active, just for 2 examples, I suppose. So all you're going to do though is your BMR. So we'll bring this down here and we'll put lightly active. And so for lightly active, it is 1.375. Let's pull out our handy dandy calculator again. 1360 times 1.375. That bumps us up to 1870 calories. Okay, so just from being lightly active throughout the day, we now need, and this is not to gain weight or to lose weight. This is simply to maintain bodily functions that we need for our brain, for our organs, for just to live, plus the activity that we're saying we do on a daily basis. Okay, now let's do very active. Again, your BMR times 1.725. 2346. Okay, so this is why you want to be very harsh and honest with yourself about the calories you need or about your activity level, because it drastically bumps your calories up. This is for, I'm 5 foot, a 5 foot woman. Okay, that's a lot of calories. Now, on a daily basis, I do eat probably in between this. I eat about the 2,000. So, you know what? Let's do moderately active just to see if that's about where I'm falling. So that's 1.55. 2108. Yes, I would say that's about exactly where I am about on a daily basis of eating calories. Now, so this is, I think what we're going to do is break this up, because we're going a bit more in depth than I had kind of anticipated. And I think rather than loading up one video with all of the information, I think what we're going to do is hang around here with calories, finish up with a few more points on how you can go about just beginning to see if this is where you are. And then we're going to follow up with how to break down these calories into macros. So we'll save all these numbers, and that's going to be where it gets a little bit, I wouldn't say complicated. It really is simple once you know the calories that make up macronutrients, and of course what those are. So protein, carbs, and fats. Protein has 4 calories per gram, carbs have 4 calories per gram, and fat actually has 9 calories per gram. So we need to go through that, and then there is a breakdown of how many grams of each we want to have in our diet. And to match that up, so we want, let's go from here. In grams, wow, my handwriting just got terrible. But from here, we're not necessarily just tracking calories, because that can be filled with 2,100 calories of Starbucks drinks and Snicker bars and full sugar Dr. Pepper and, I don't know, some fast food. And you might have one meal and that's gone. Truthfully, that's another great thing you can look through with MyFitnessPal. Any fast food that you get, if you log in and you go to Chick-fil-A and you can pull up the Chick-fil-A grilled chicken sandwich, okay? It will show you how many calories are in that. Be a little bit aware that it's a roundabout number, because they're not necessarily measuring each time, I would imagine. I don't know necessarily, but give or take a few with everything. But calories, protein, carbs, and fats are all going to be listed on the food that you get at any fast food restaurant. So I would plug those in, even if you don't go eat there, but just to get an idea of if you were to eat that, or if you were to have, I don't know, a Starbucks, I don't know what their fun drinks are, but a mocha frappuccino. Is that a fun one? I don't know. The like milkshake kind of coffees that a lot of people drink daily. Those can be up to this many calories. It sounds absurd, because it is. It sounds impossible, but it's not. It's truly possible that a drink can be 2,000 calories. It's crazy, but that wipes you out for the day. And then, of course, you're going to be hungry because all you had were carbs, which is and not good complex carbs, which we'll go into, you had a drink full of simple carbs, sugar. You have no protein, no good carbs. It's also pretty high in fat. I'm guessing they would have used a heavy cream or a half and half. So you have lots of sugar to make that coffee taste good, and you have a lot of fat to give it that creamy milkshake kind of texture. So calories add up very, very quickly. So let's start here. Let's figure out your BMR, figure out your activity, and then from here, you're going to start to track, start to just search for random foods. Search for your peanut butter, search for chicken, search for rice, compare foods, just make it fun. Go through and browse through what there is. And when you become more aware of how these foods add together calorically, it begins to make more sense with piecing meals together. I think what we'll do though, just because I've decided we'll skip the macros for today, I think what we're going to do is the males. So if you want to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, screenshot, pause, go back if you need to do that now. I will have these numbers that I can use in reference for our future videos. And then let me see what I need to change. We'll do males really quickly. Males are the same numbers for the activity level, but let me find my males. Okay, so 66.47. And I'm obviously not a male, so we'll make up a number. Okay, let's just, somebody saw this. Uh, 13.75 times body weight in kilograms again, plus 5 times height in centimeter, some space, minus 6.75 times age in years. And let's begin. So 66.47, that is here, plus, let's figure out, okay, we'll say he's 200 pounds, or that's close to, let's say 220. Okay, so 220 divided by 2.2, 100 times 13.75, 1375. Plus, okay, let's say he is, let's say he's 6 foot. Okay, so 72 inches divided by 2.54 times 5, 141.7. And I don't round in here. I keep it all exactly as, I mean, I might round to the nearest, but once it's up there. Okay, 6.75. Let's say he's 40. 270. Now we get to do our fun numbers. So this plus subtraction. 66.47 plus 1375 plus 141.7 minus 270 equals 1317. That does not seem right for a male. Did I do that right? Body weight in kilograms plus 5 times height in centimeters. Am I doing something wrong? Oh, I did this wrong. Duh. Okay, so be mindful of that. It's, how tall did we say he was? 72 inches times 2.54 times 5. 914.4. Okay, I accidentally divided this by 2.54. We want to multiply I'm sure you will know that, but just a heads up. So let's add this all together again. Minus 270. Okay, that's better. 2085.87. Let's say 2100. Okay, so for a male that is 6 foot, 220 pounds, that is his BMR. So that's where he would hang out. Same thing with activity level. We'll do just moderately active to do it. So 2100 times 1.55. $32.55 now for some activity during the day. Let's actually do one more. We'll say he is, well, no, I was going to say let's do one for maybe physical labor. I would really say physical labor would probably fall under moderately active. That's heavier exercise 5 to 7 times a week. That's, 5 days of 5 work days. Anything beyond that would be more training in a gym. He's working outside all day, but then going to the gym or going for a run after work and having some extra. But if you weigh 220, you're 6 foot, you're a male, and you're working outside every day, that's about where you would be for the calories you need to consume on a daily basis. So I hope this was helpful. Again, these are a rough estimate, a rough ballpark range of calories that you will need for simple daily life. Nothing extra, nothing beyond living. We're not thriving.